My hair is muscled.
I used to like the movie Groundhog's Day until I realized
Yeah.
that's this podcast.
Yeah, we watched that recently. Actually, it's a good,
Yeah.
80s movies often are very clearly made in the 80s, and that's certainly one of them. But it's a good one.
Yeah. And I was like, that's just kind of what this feels like.
It's funny. It's funny. Yeah.
Like when
Except
you
if I
die
walk, yeah, yeah.
and go to
Good.
wherever, you're not going to see like pearly gates. You're just going to hear this noise. that's,
Nice.
that's what it's going to be.
That's my form of Groundhog Day. And by the way, that's not Pearly Gates. That's the other place.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they might be pearly from all the heat radiating
Yeah.
around them. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. So Microsoft delivers May 2020 update to Surface. Oh, it doesn't say book.
I meant so the blurb says some, I hope, Surface PCs, because yes, it's not all of them yet. They're working on it, Brad.
Yeah, there's a cumulative update for 1909, but no. Is there a way to refresh this thing without? No.
That's hilarious.
Anyway,
That's hilarious.
here we
Yeah,
are.
yeah. Past couple of nights, I do this kind of thing a lot, but I have various computers around the house. They're just sitting there doing nothing. So every once in a while, I'll grab one, plug it in, open it up, see where it's at, update it,
Mhm.
And man, that process is not great. No, I mean, we watched TV last night from 8 until, this is unusual, like 10:30, because we had like one more episode of a show. So we were like, we'll stay up a little late and just finish the series or whatever. And that entire time, this thing was trying to install. This one was on the Insider Fast Ring, so it's actually on the next version, whatever. It didn't finish by the time I went to bed. Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's not a great price. Maybe because it was Patch Tuesday or something. I don't know.
I was actually a little shocked at the 7.2 million pixel number. I mean,
Shocked
that's
in what way?
low.
Okay, good. Because everybody's so sensitive these days, right? So the Pixel story was one. There was the Brian Hall thing with the facial recognition thing that he was against with Amazon is another one where, people really line up on either side of this as if it were some kind of a debate. Like there are two sides to every coin, and and I'm 7.2 is not a lot. I'm sorry, like that's just not a lot.
No, I mean, in the mobile world where Apple's selling like 30 to 40 million a quarter.
No, more than that. Samsung in the January quarter sold 72 million in one quarter. Now, granted, they are the market leader, but if you look at the top 10 list, Google is nowhere near it. They're somewhere way down the bottom. And there are companies that, like I wrote in the article, there are companies that no one in the United States has heard of, like Vivo and Oppo, that outsell Google by a wide margin, and are in the top 5 or 10 or whatever it is. I don't know how to explain this. I mean, I like Pixel phones have had reliability issues sometimes. The Pixel 4 has not. I mean, the Pixel 4 has not really had any hardware issues, but it's kind of a bland design. Who are you smirking at?
Well, so as you were doing that, I realized I was sort of off-center, and like somebody's going to be watching this.
I thought your wife walked in the room and was like giving you sign language or something.
It was like, Brad on a ship? No, I was trying to figure out, and it's the camera I have flipped for little throwback nostalgia. Like if you go back and watch the early episodes, because the podcast studio is somewhere else, I actually flipped the camera so that it mirrors that more closely than reality. And so I was trying to figure out where center was.
When we lived in Massachusetts, I had a thing down in the cellar, and would look at a screen that was, probably 10 feet away or something. So since I moved, I just used the normal sitting at my desk thing. So it's kind of, it doesn't change. Anywho, yes, the point is no one's playing with numbers. 7.2 million, it's like 7.2 million of anything is a lot. No, not in the smartphone business. You got to remember, this is a market that sees 1.5 to 2.2, whatever the number is, billion units sold every year. Google is a rounding error. This is not a successful business. And it's also, by the way, and I should have put this in the article. I wrote this in a comment this morning, but the thing you have to understand, well, there's two things. The vast majority of the sales they did get were from the low end phone, the Pixel 3 line, which, by the way, is a wonderful phone. And I think informs why the Pixel 5 might be a lower end device. They can sell it for less money and maybe do better with that. And I think that's a good idea. I've written that. I've written articles about it. But the other important thing, and this is the part that wasn't in the article, the last year was the second year in a row in which sales of their flagship device fell under sales of the previous flagship. So the Pixel 2 sold more than the Pixel 3, which sold more than the Pixel 4. So yeah, Pixel sales overall were up year over year. But if you look at the flagships, they've been down year over year, 2 years in a row. And that's not success. And so stating that plainly, I guess, makes me negative. But that's why I was curious. I mean, it's just honest and obvious, I think.
Yeah.
That, I like these phones. You know that. I mean,
they're good phones.
For this, I mean, because I like Pixels, but
But yeah, for a company for as much money as Google makes,
well, yeah, I mean, well, and they also make the platform, right? So,
right.
Obvious comparison here might be to Microsoft. Like, how well are they doing in the PC industry? And honestly, from and this is off the top of my head, but from a kind of a percentage standpoint, because obviously the PC market is much smaller than the smartphone market, I think Microsoft's doing better.
I would probably think so.
I'm pretty sure they are. I'd have to really look it up, but I believe that they are doing better. And hardware is hard, like Sundar Pichai said recently. But Microsoft, we kind of forget how long these things take. Like, Microsoft launched their PC business in 2012. It was 8 years ago.
Yep.
So they have $1 billion quarters now. Great. It's a decent business. As someone, I don't know if I can say who said this, but someone at Microsoft told me at the last launch event they had that we went to last fall, that if you could enter the phone market and only sell like a small amount but have it be profitable, wouldn't that be okay? And the answer to that is yes, absolutely yes. And they were referring to the Duo, in that case, and that would be fine for Google too. The fact that they give something for enthusiasts to go buy that has the pure experience, although, by the way, that's not even what it is, is valuable. But they've lost the lead in cameras. They are not selling as well as they used to. I know overall they're selling better, but that's because of the low end devices. I don't know. I clearly their strategy is not working. So.
Yeah, I think all of us kind of want to see them build a killer high end phone. But
I have a Pixel A and a Pixel 4 XL sitting here, and when their successors come out, I will trade them in and I'll buy the new one. I mean, that's what I do. I like these phones, and I want them to succeed, but you can't be honest about this and not realize that they're failing.
Yeah. Well, at least Google's making some money. So if they want to keep it alive, they purely can.
Well, I'll tell you this. If Google gets broken up and their ad business gets separated from the rest of the company, I can tell you they're going to look a little more closely at businesses like Pixel that aren't making any money and think
if their ad business gets separated out, there's nothing left.
I know, it's amazing. So you could
I
look.
guess maybe G Suite would bring in somebody, but
it does. So you can kind of figure out how much money. So last quarter was a little bit of an exaggeration. So I would say normally Google's revenues are 86% ads. And so if you look at the rest of that money, the vast majority of it comes from G Suite. Yeah, for sure. And some of it does come from hardware, no doubt about that. And the Google One storage, blah, 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 whatever.
Well, I guess it could, actually, think about it. This is regulatory shooting from the hip here. But I guess is what they could do is, like you said, separate out the ad business, and then Google just gets a cut of the display ads, right? So then there's like the advertising behemoth. So somebody searches on Google would usually make $1. Well, now the Google advertising firm only makes 75 cents and Google.com makes 25 cents.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Google could still be a decent business, but they're only at where they are. They're one of the top 3 or 4 because of ads. I mean, and search.
By far.
Ads, So if 85% is ads, the remaining 15, I mean, this is probably wrong, but if they made like $10 billion in a quarter, 85% is $8,500. $8,500 times 4 is whatever. That's your company. I mean, $8,500. I mean, 8.5. billion. Sorry. Actually, sorry. The remainder of that is 1.5 billion. I mean, it's not a big company. That's
Yeah.
six billion a year. I mean, the more personal computing makes $11 billion a quarter at Microsoft. And that's a legacy business, And they
I think the
have
interesting one would be YouTube. YouTube needs to survive, in my opinion, as we publish videos on there. But
it makes money though.
I see. I thought I read that it did, but it's not. It's not like a booming business.
Yeah, because the volume is incredible, but the amount of money coming in must be on the low end. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, most of
it's an ads game at the end of the day, so it's.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see what, if, or when things happen. So we'll find out.
I gotta stop doing math in my head.
At 9:11 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah. Well, what I was trying to do real quick, but it's too many zeros, was to multiply the 7.2 million by a roughly average selling price to figure out what the annualized sales of the Pixel were. And
that's interesting. Right. Well, I mean, so 5 out of 7 of those are probably in the $300 to $400. Well, let's say $400 range.
Yeah, but let's just say there was $500, and then
like the average selling price would be $500.
For all devices.
Yeah, so what the revenue is 7.2 million times 500. Oh, you're looking to see if this is like $1 billion business.
$3.6 billion.
Yeah. Well, by the way, this is the point, and I made this point a year ago, May, when I found out that Microsoft was working on a smartphone, and I didn't know it was a dual screen smartphone. That was one thing I never found out about. But I questioned the person who told me this, and I said, why on earth would Microsoft enter the smartphone market? And they told me, you don't understand how easy it is to turn a smartphone business into $1 billion business in revenues. And by the way, you just explained how easy it is. Because 1/3 of 7.2 million is not a lot of millions, but that's $1 billion business. And that's what you need to push something forward at Microsoft. And that was the argument that those people who wanted the phone were making, that this thing, even if this thing doesn't sell well, it will become $1 billion business. And that's, I believe, is why that thing got the okay. Yeah. So there you go. It's and 7.2 billion is a tiny single-digit market share thing, and the smartphone market is huge. But these were different people. But that other person who said to me after we did know the phone was coming and it was dual screen said, if you could have a small business and it was profitable, I mean, why not just do that? And that's fair. I think for Google, if you look at what they're doing, kind of lowering the price on the Pixel 5, if that's true, which I believe it is. They're trying to get to that point as well. It's like, okay, so we're only selling like 7.2 million units. I mean, what if it was a small business, but it was profitable? We could just keep doing this, And I still think there's value to that, both for Google and for the people who care about these products. So
the enthusiast market as well. So
yeah, they got to keep it up with the camera. They have to provide something for people. It can't just be clean Android, which it really isn't. But so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Maybe they just have really good margins on that hardware.
I don't think they do. I think Google suffers from the same problem Microsoft suffers from in the PC market, where because they're basically a boutique maker of hardware, they don't get the same prices on components on components. I say then does Apple, Huawei, Samsung, the big players, because those guys buy, or actually in many cases they make these things in such volume that they can demand lower per unit prices than Microsoft or Google can. I mean, it's one of the struggles you have when you're a small company. When you look at like OnePlus, once they went 5G this generation, the prices had to go up because there is no version of that chip that's cheap, let alone at the volume they sell at, which by the way is less than Google. So,
yeah, there you go. You got anything else for today, Paul?
No, I wish I had something else today, Brad. There doesn't appear to be anything going on. It's kind of a problem.
You're kind of a problem.
There you go. I'm sorry.